Thank you for watching. Subscribe on Deceived Husbands for more stories. The door opened, letting in a stream of light that I didn't need on this quiet Sunday afternoon. A tall, stocky man walked in, his eyes scanning the room until they landed on me. I raised my hand and he came over, taking a seat across from me with a grin on his face. His name was Dave Thompson, but everyone called him Trucker Dave because of the cowboy hat he wore when he was driving his rig. Trucker Dave worked for a trucking company that hauled goods across the Midwest. I was the operations manager for a local distribution center in Michigan. I had taken the afternoon off to talk to Trucker Dave about something that had been bugging me for weeks. His run was over for the day since he started before dawn and usually finished around noon. He and his ex-wife Lisa used to hang out with me and my wife Amanda, but that changed when they got divorced about 6 months ago. Dave noticed the tension on my face and frowned. "What's going on, man? I was surprised to get your call. Haven't seen much of you and Amanda since the divorce. Figured I was off your radar." It was true. I hadn't talked to Dave much since the divorce. Amanda couldn't stand him, always blaming him for his marriage falling apart. When I pointed out that Lisa was the one who cheated, Amanda just rolled her eyes and said it served him right. I knew Dave well enough to know that was crap, but arguing with Amanda never seemed worth it. She always seemed mad at me for something, so why make it worse? I waved the waitress over and ordered us a couple of beers. Dave perked up but didn't say anything, waiting for me to spill the beans. Amanda didn't want us to drop Lisa as a friend, so I just let things slide. But I've got to be honest with you, Dave. I don't care for Lisa anymore since the divorce, but that's not why I wanted to talk to you. I've got questions, and you're the one with the answers. Sounds serious. Shoot. What tipped you off that Lisa was messing around on you? What were the signs? Dave looked at me with a knowing smile, the kind that gets wider when you see someone else dealing with the same crap. Seems like somebody else is having problems at home. Damn. I'm not surprised. What do you mean? Do you know something I should know? I don't know anything for sure, but I've got my suspicions. Your wife and Lisa have been hanging out a lot since the divorce. And that's not good news if you ask me. But what the hell, you asked what the signs were, right? Dave took a moment to think, mentioning that thinking made him thirsty. So I ordered another round. When the beers came, he took a big gulp before continuing. Okay, here's how it started. Lisa got real quiet. She used to talk my ear off, but all of a sudden she barely said anything to me. When she did talk, it was all nonsense, like her mind was somewhere else. He paused, taking another drink and staring off into space before going on. Then she started picking fights over nothing, just looking for an excuse to argue. No matter what I said, it didn't matter. That's when I first suspected something was off. I could tell this was still a sore subject for him. It had only been half a year since the divorce was finalized, and I knew Dave was still in love with Lisa, even though he could never forgive her. The hardest part for Dave was that she didn't care. Then I started calling home during the day from work, something I never used to do. I'd hang up when she answered, but after a few weeks, I noticed a pattern. She was usually home, except on Wednesdays. On Wednesdays, she was gone in the early afternoon and didn't come back until late. When I asked what she did during the day, she'd say errands or shopping. Another swig of beer, another signal for another round. I obliged. The last sign was the most obvious. Our sex life, which used to be pretty decent, just died. Unless I pushed for it, she wasn't interested, and when she did give in, it was like she was somewhere else. It felt like being with a mannequin. I nodded, remembering how distant Amanda had been lately. Dave was hurting, but I hadn't realized how bad it was until now. I regretted not being there for him, not paying more attention to what he was going through. Maybe it was too late, but I told him how sorry I was. He shrugged it off, saying, "It's done now, so what about you? What's your plan?" I took a day off and followed her on one of her Wednesday afternoons, borrowed a buddy's car and waited until she left, followed her to a motel on Main Street, saw her meet up with the guy she was screwing. Took some photos of them going in and coming out. The beer arrived, and Dave took a long drink, reliving the pain as he spoke. I showed her the pictures that night, and she just shrugged. Asked what I was going to do about it, and when I said I wanted a divorce, she didn't argue. Agreed it was for the best. Never explained why she did it. I still don't know. I was disappointed, hoping for some insight into why Lisa had cheated. But Dave didn't have any answers, and I wondered how he managed to move on without knowing. Didn't you try to get her to explain why she hurt you? I'd need to know, just to move on. Didn't need to. After I found out, there was no way I'd take her back. Told her good riddance and moved on. She's still seeing that guy, but he went back to his wife. Serves her right. I didn't give her a dime in the divorce. She wanted alimony, but I told her I'd quit my job and live off nothing before I gave her a cent. She got the picture real quick. He finished his beer and leaned back, looking at me. So what about you? Sounds like you're dealing with the same crap. Yeah, I think Amanda caught whatever Lisa had. She's been acting just like Lisa did, but I can't catch her. Either she's too careful or she's got help. Well, you've come to the right place. Let's figure out a way to catch her. I'd like to say we came up with a brilliant plan, but we mostly just got drunk. It was close to midnight when I finally made my way home. The garage door was stuck and I was fumbling with the keys when the door flew open and there was Amanda, hands on her hips, looking like she was ready to rip me apart. Well, you finally decided to come home. And drunk, too. What do you have to say for yourself? Nice to see you too, darling. Been waiting up for me or spending time with someone else? Amanda was furious, but she just narrowed her eyes and walked off to the bedroom. I managed to get inside, leaning against the door as the room spun around me. After a few minutes, I locked the door and stumbled to the kitchen for coffee and a cold washcloth. I felt terrible but strangely relaxed for the first time in months. I dropped into a chair and let my head fall onto my arms, too exhausted to move. I woke up with the sun in my face, still at the kitchen table. My back ached as I straightened up, cursing my age. I was making my way upstairs when I heard Amanda's voice. Well, look who decided to join the living. You must be proud of yourself. I muttered something about her not even noticing I wasn't in bed as I headed for the shower. The hot water helped, but as I stood there, I thought about everything Dave had told me. Amanda and I had been married for over 8 years. We had no kids, though I wanted them. She wasn't ready, and it strained our marriage. The last few months had been especially rough, with Amanda angry at me for no reason, shutting me out completely. Our last attempt at intimacy was 2 months ago, and it was anything but pleasant. Now I was beginning to understand why. An hour later, I was back in the kitchen, desperately needing coffee. The smell of it led me straight to the pot, but unfortunately Amanda was there too, darkening my mood. Just let me get my coffee before you start in on me. Too bad you made a fool of yourself last night. Maybe if you were home where you belong, you wouldn't feel so bad. I bit back the urge to say something I'd regret. Instead, I stayed quiet. I'm talking to you, Jeff. Where were you last night? I was with Trucker Dave. Remember him? The one your cheating friend left for another guy. You don't know what you're talking about. Lisa didn't cheat on him first. She just got fed up and decided to live her life. Sorry, but Lisa had been screwing Jack for months before Dave found out. When he did, he kicked her out. She didn't even contest the divorce. She's still with Jack, but he's not leaving his wife, so she's just a side piece. Amanda looked shaken. Maybe she was starting to realize that her friend wasn't the saint she thought she was. I decided it was time to throw the first punch in what would be a long battle. Any wife who cheats on her husband is a fool if she doesn't talk to him first. If she's that unhappy, she should ask for a divorce. But to blame it on him and then sleep with someone else? That's just garbage. Amanda looked like she was going to be sick. I wasn't sure what was going through her mind, but I was certain she was guilty. I wanted to push her to do something stupid. If you did that, I'd divorce you so fast your head would spin. No excuses, no second chances. I grabbed my now cold coffee and walked out to the garage. I had a small workshop out there and I needed some space to think. I spent the morning there, not interrupted by Amanda. Around 10, I called Dave and asked him to meet me at a diner. I wanted to be ready if Amanda decided to leave. I went back inside when Amanda called me for lunch. It was the first time she'd made lunch for me in months. Suspicious, I asked why. Why lunch? Guilty conscience? She tried to smile, but it didn't reach her eyes. You seem tired. I thought you needed something to eat, thanks. I'm going out this afternoon, by the way. Who are you meeting? It's just a friend. Nothing for you to worry about. It seems strange to meet someone on a Sunday. Why are you so concerned? They say guilty people always suspect everyone else. I'm not guilty of anything, just wondering. Amanda was nervous, but she tried to hide it by busying herself with the dishes. I changed into a nice shirt and slacks before leaving for the diner. Amanda watched me go without a word. I met up with Dave and we parked on a nearby street to watch the house. Amanda said she had nowhere to go, so she'd be home. We waited. 3 minutes later, she pulled out of the driveway in her shiny new Ford Expedition. Why she needed such a big vehicle, I didn't know. She didn't work and had nothing to haul, so why the big gas guzzler? Dave and I cracked open a couple of beers as we waited. I told him about my conversation with Amanda. He laughed and said she was probably guilty, but we needed proof. As we talked, Amanda's car came into view, heading our way. We ducked down as she passed, then pulled out behind her. After a 10-minute drive, she pulled into a diner on the other side of town. Dave parked across the street at a gas station and we watched as she just sat there. After a few minutes, another car pulled up next to her. I couldn't see who it was, but Amanda got out and walked around to the other side. The damn Expedition was so big I couldn't see what was happening. Before I could react, the car backed out and drove away in the opposite direction. By the time we got moving, it was gone. Frustrated, I told Dave to take me back to my car. I didn't know what I'd do next, but I was sure of one thing: my marriage was over. I drove back to the diner and parked off to the side where I could see her car. I waited. It was over an hour and a half before she came back. Must have been enough time for a quick rendezvous. When they returned, I recognized the guy as one of Jack's friends. I started my car as his pulled up beside her Expedition. After a moment, she walked around the front of his car and watched him drive away. Now for the surprise. Just as she opened her door, I pulled up beside her and waited for her to notice me. When our eyes met, the look on her face was priceless: shock, guilt, panic all at once. I let it sink in before driving off without looking back. I didn't pack a bag or close our accounts. I wasn't thinking straight enough for that. All I felt was a deep sadness and a sick feeling in my stomach. It's funny how the end of something, even something bad, can feel so sad. While I no longer loved Amanda, we had been married for over 8 years. That was a big chunk of my life. But as I thought about it, I realized I was better off with a clean break. I sat in the living room and waited. A few hours later, the garage door rumbled open and Amanda's Expedition pulled in. She came in, calling my name as she rushed into the room. When she spotted me sitting there, she froze. I could see she was bracing for a fight, but I just stared at her, not saying a word. She was the one who messed up, not me. She was the guilty one. Why should I say anything? It's not what you think. I don't know how or why you were there, but it's not what you think. How could she know what I thought? She didn't know me at all if she could do something like this. She'd figured she could cheat on me and get away with it, but she was dead wrong. I was there because I followed you there. Dave and I were behind you the whole way. We saw you get into that guy's car and drive off. That's all I needed to see. And what I think is that you're a cheating, lying wife who decided she needed more excitement in her life and didn't give a damn about her husband. That's what I think. Now tell me I'm wrong. Tears started to well up in her eyes, but I wasn't about to be swayed by them. She was in trouble and she knew it. She was trying to find a way to make me believe it wasn't true. You're wrong. None of that is true. It's not what it looked like. I wasn't cheating on you, and that's the truth. Sorry, but I don't believe you. You're trying to feed me the same crap Lisa gave Dave. I'm not buying it. You're a married woman getting into another man's car after telling me you were staying home to do laundry. Your best friend is a cheater, and you've been making my life hell for months. You stopped wanting to be with me. It's all clear now you wanted more, so you went out and got it. That's crazy. None of that is true. You're trying to make me look like I am cheating, but I'm not. I have everything I want with you. Then what were you doing in another man's car for an hour and a half? Why meet a man and lie to me about it? Why have you been so distant with me lately? And why did we stop being intimate? Why, damn it, tell me why." She was a wreck now, holding herself and rocking back and forth. She was trying to say something, but the words weren't coming out. "There's more to it than that. You just don't understand. You're wrong. I don't believe you. You've already lied to me once, and now you're trying to convince me you're innocent." "Well, I don't believe you. If you can lie once, you can lie again and again." Amanda had almost completely collapsed. She was moaning and crying, but not saying anything. She had run out of things to say and hadn't had time to prepare her lies. Without preparation, lies are hard to come up with on the spot. "I'm going to pack a bag and get out of here. I'll call Tom O'Neill in the morning and start the proceedings. You should get your own lawyer since Tom works for me." Her response was immediate. She stood up, arms waving in panic. "What do you mean, get a lawyer? What do you mean, start proceedings? You can't be serious. You don't mean divorce. No, you have to let me explain. It's not what you think." "Yes, it is." "No, damn it, no. I'll tell you everything. Just stop this nonsense." I didn't want to hear any more, but I was curious to know what excuse she'd come up with. "Okay, I'll give you 5 minutes to tell me your story, but if I hear one lie, I'm gone and it's over. No more lies. I told you, no second chances." Amanda stood and paced the room before starting. I could almost hear the wheels in her head turning as she tried to figure out how to convince me she was innocent. Not likely, but it might be fun to watch her try. "Okay, his name is Kevin Andrews. He works with Jack Mason. Hearing that she and Lisa were involved with the same circle of people made me furious. I couldn't believe it. I should have known. Lisa cheats with Jack and you're screwing Kevin. Good friends stick together, huh? How long has it been going on? Did Lisa set you up?" I was so angry that I stood up, glaring at Amanda, ready to walk out. When she reached out to grab my arm, I spun around, giving her a look that had her stumbling back. She was scared, really scared for the first time in our marriage, and I didn't blame her. "I can't listen to this now. I thought I could, but I can't. This is too sick even for me. I have to get out of here. Just don't say anything. Please, just back away and don't say anything." I ran down the hall to our room, grabbed my overnight bag, and started throwing clothes into it. I was so angry, my hands were shaking, but I had to get out of there. I couldn't stay in the same house with her any longer. I managed to get to the door, opened it, and threw my bag down the steps, grabbing the railing to steady myself. Amanda was standing at the door, her face a mixture of fear and panic, but I didn't care. I was done. "Tom, please, you don't—" "I asked you to shut up. Why can't you just shut the hell up?" I stumbled down the steps to my car, threw the bag in the back, and got behind the wheel. Amanda was saying something, but I didn't hear her. I didn't want to hear her as I backed out of the driveway, almost hitting her SUV. I sped away, finally releasing the breath I'd been holding. I calmed down enough to see where I was and pulled over to call Dave. I needed a place to crash, and his place would do. He answered, gave me the go-ahead, and I headed over. We spent the evening talking, and I told him everything. He knew Kevin and Jack and said they were sharing our wives for their own pleasure. My anger flared up again, but by the end of the night, I felt numb. The next morning was Monday, and I woke up feeling like I'd been in a fight. Dave had some errands to run, so I made myself at home. I got up, cleaned up, and made an egg sandwich for breakfast. Simple, but it hit the spot. I was just sitting around when the phone rang. I decided to answer just in case it was him. It was. "Hey, Jeff, everything all right? Did you get something to eat?" "Yeah, I'm good. Egg sandwich and a shower, and I feel like a new man." "Good. Just wanted to let you know I talked with Lisa this morning. You might want to call Amanda and let her talk. I know it sounds crazy, but it might be worth hearing what she has to say. Dave, what could she possibly say that would make a difference? She's been cheating on me, and that's the end of it. Just call, Jeff. Lisa told me some things that might be true, but I don't trust her, so just call Amanda. You're my buddy, and I want to see you do the right thing. If it was important to him, I'd do it, but it sounded like Lisa had done some conning of her own. She and Amanda probably talked and made up some lies to cover for each other. Two of a kind, but I promised, so I'd do it. I went into the den and dialed. "Hello? Hello, Amanda, it's me. Sorry about last night, but I had to get out of there before I did something I'd regret." "Tom, thank God. I had no idea where you were. I called Lisa, and she called Dave, and he wouldn't tell us anything, but he said he'd get word to you. Yeah, he called. Wanted to be sure I called you. I figure you and Lisa got your stories straight so she could feed Dave some lies so he'd call me. Well, I'm calling. Tom, that's not what happened. Please come home so we can talk. You left before I could explain anything. You told me all I needed to know last night. You and Lisa screwing those guys. Seems your guy is Jack's right-hand man. I guess you were a reward for sticking by Lisa. Maybe you can take turns. Tom, it isn't like that. I'm not sleeping with him. I've never been unfaithful that way to you. Never. You have to believe that. Sorry, I don't believe you. You were with him Saturday afternoon alone for over an hour and a half in his car. Alone. I couldn't follow you to see where you went, but I imagine it was somewhere you could be alone. Did you do him in the backseat of his car in some parking lot? There was nothing but sobbing on the other end. I knew I was being cruel, but I was hurt, and I wanted her to feel it too. Tom, please. You have to come home and talk to me. You owe me that much. If you don't believe me afterward, fine. But you have to give me a chance to explain. Fine. I'll be there in an hour. You can talk yourself sick. Goodbye. I didn't know why I agreed to go back. Maybe I was hoping that this was all a mistake, a misunderstanding, something that could be fixed. Even though I knew better, part of me was still holding on. At almost 11:00, I pulled up to the house and sat in the driveway, just looking at it. It was a large ranch-style house, sprawling across the lot with 4 bedrooms and a big open living area. The front yard needed mowing and the shrubs were overgrown. I made a mental note to call the landscaping service. I walked to the front door and rang the bell. It took a few seconds, but Amanda finally opened the door. Tom, what are you doing at the front door? You never come in this way. Why didn't you use the garage door like always? I don't feel like I live here anymore. Everything feels different, especially you. Tom, please come in and stop talking that way. Nothing is different. We just need to talk and figure it out. I walked into the foyer and looked around. Everything seemed the same, but it wasn't. The furniture she picked out, the dining table set with placemats in silver, the big bouquet of flowers in the center, the glimpse into the living room with its matching furniture, and Amanda standing there in a yellow sundress that showed off her tan shoulders and a hint of cleavage. She looked beautiful, but that wasn't the point. I had loved her at her best and worst, but nothing she did now could change my mind, not after what had happened. Tom, I want to tell you everything, but you have to let me say it all. You can't just hear part of it and then get mad. Please promise you'll listen to everything. I could see the fear in her eyes. It made me uncomfortable, but I knew it wasn't me she was afraid of. She was afraid of losing me, of losing our marriage. I promised to listen to everything, but I will get angry. I can't control that. I'll try to let you finish without losing it. Thank you. That's all I need for you to hear it all. She sat down across from me at the kitchen table where she'd set out coffee and some cookies. She looked great, her hair brushed back, and she had taken the time to make herself up. But that wasn't the point. I had always loved her, but nothing she did now could change my mind. This all started about a month before Lisa and Dave filed for divorce. Lisa was telling me about his affairs, how he was screwing around on her. She said she knew all about it and had proof. I had to interrupt. I promised to listen, but I wasn't going to let this crap go unchallenged. So you're telling me this has been going on for 6 or 7 months? And what proof did she show you? Did she hire a PI? This is all garbage. And if this is your story, I might as well leave now. Wait, Tom, wait. Nothing has been going on, and I said I'd tell you everything. This is what she told me. I know it's not true now, but I believed her at the time. I sat back and let her continue, though I felt this was going to be a load of crap. She started telling me about Kevin Andrews. They'd met at a company event and became friends. He was the one who told her to hire a PI. He said he knew Dave and would find out what he could. Over the next few weeks, he supposedly told her about 3 women Dave was messing around with. I shook my head, interrupting again. And you believed all of this? I can't believe you were that stupid. The woman I married wasn't this dumb. I know it sounds crazy now, but at the time it didn't. I started to notice you were often late for dinner and going back to work late at night. Lisa kept at me, and I became more and more suspicious. I convinced myself you were cheating on me. That's crap. I can't listen to this. You're trying to make this my fault. I got up, knocking the chair over as I stormed out of the kitchen. I had all I could take of this crap. I'll call you later after I calm down enough to stand the sight of you. Tom, wait, please. I went out the front door into my car and drove away, just to get away from her lies. This was all crap from beginning to end. She just wanted an excuse to be with someone else and blame it on me. Well, I wasn't going to stand for it. An hour later, I was sitting in a small cafe, drinking a Coke, watching my sorry life evaporate. I called Dave to let him know where I was, and sure enough, he came in and sat down beside me. Hey, buddy, you can't do any real thinking with a soft drink. Let's go back to my place and have a couple of beers. He was right. We did, and it was better. Now, here's what I think. You and me, we need to go after those sons of bitches and tear them apart. Jack and Kevin are chicken shits, and we can take them down. I kind of like the idea. Maybe another shot would help me make up my mind. I did, and it did. Damn fine idea. When should we do it? Now? Nah. Today's Sunday, the Lord's Day. Can't do shit like that on the Lord's Day. Okay, tomorrow then. We'll wait for them after work. That was all I remembered after I woke up later that afternoon. Dave and I spent most of the day drinking and making plans, but strangely, I didn't feel hungover. I actually felt pretty good. Good enough that I decided to call Amanda. Hello, Amanda, it's me. How are you? What do you mean, how am I? You stormed out of here without letting me explain like you promised. You promised to listen to everything. She was crying again, trying to get the words out. I know what I promised. I just have a hard time with this crap you're throwing at me. You expect me to sit there calmly when you tell me I've been cheating on you? I'm only telling you what I thought at the time. I talked myself into believing it, with Lisa urging me on. I see it now, but not then. That calmed me down a little, but I still couldn't take it. We have a problem, Amanda. You're telling me you believed all this crap, and that's what made you do what you did. But I'm having a real problem accepting that you were that stupid. It all sounds like an excuse to me. It's not an excuse. It's the reason I did what I did. I'm not accusing you of anything, and I know you never cheated on me. I'm just trying to show you how confused I was. Well, if I accept that you were confused and thought I was cheating, why were you so quick to doubt me and believe someone else? Where was the trust in me? I think you just wanted to do whatever you wanted with whoever you wanted. That's what I think. Silence. Just a few sniffles, but no more sobbing. Maybe she knew it was over. Maybe she knew the battle was lost. Okay, if you come home, I'll get to the part about Kevin. That's the part you need to hear. Please come home now while I have the courage to tell you. I'm on my way. I checked on Dave, but he was sound asleep. I jotted down a note and stuck it to the last of the beers in the six-pack. I drove home again and this time went in through the garage. She was sitting right where I left her, at the table. I walked over and took my seat, pouring a cup of coffee. She took it, walked over to the microwave, and gave it a minute. It was the same pot as before. One of the things that puzzled me was why I kept ending up with cold coffee. Amanda started right in, no delay, no build-up. After the divorce, I spent a lot of time with Lisa. She didn't seem down at all, but I thought she was hiding it, so I went over almost every day. She was still seeing Jack, which I thought was strange. I found out he was married and mentioned it, but she said he was going to leave his wife. Pretty soon she was seeing him every day, so I stopped going over, but a week later she called and asked me to meet her at the diner. That's when I met Kevin. Jack introduced us and we talked. I promised to meet them again. That's how it started. I started to fidget as she got to the part about that guy. I didn't want to listen, but I felt I had to. I nodded for her to continue. I had lunch with them twice more, and then Kevin asked me to meet him alone for dinner. I refused at first, but he asked again later, and I finally accepted. We went out to dinner 3 or 4 times, always alone. I told you I was with Lisa those times. She stopped to take a drink of her tea while I waited, trying to calm myself, but to no avail. My heart was pounding in my chest, but I stayed. I need to tell you right now, nothing happened at those dinners. Just 2 friends talking and dancing, that's all. He was a perfect gentleman. Then we didn't see each other for a week because he was traveling. But when he came back, he called and asked to meet for lunch. I agreed, and we met at the diner. During lunch, he asked me to spend the night with him. I refused, but he kept asking. I still refused, but I didn't say no. I said maybe. She watched me as I struggled to keep my temper in check. I was proud of myself for not collapsing from a heart attack. Maybe that was coming later, but for now I was holding it together. I told Lisa what Kevin wanted, and she said I should go for it. She said that since you were cheating on me, I should do the same to you. She admitted she was doing Jack almost every day. I wasn't surprised. I think I knew it. I kept thinking about what Kevin wanted, and I was weakening. I began to consider it. I didn't accept yet, but I was close. I went to dinner with him a couple more times, and the last time he kissed me. It was a soft kiss, and I didn't stop it. It wasn't forced on me, but it made me feel dirty. She was talking more to herself now than to me, reliving the moment. That night, I kept going over it in my mind, and after a while, it didn't seem so bad. I convinced myself that I liked it. That's when I began to see Kevin as more than a friend and a potential lover. She stopped for a second, glancing up at me before continuing. During the time I was meeting him for lunch and dinner, I began to see you as an obstacle. You were a drag on me, and it made me angry with you. It was all in my mind. I finally decided I wouldn't make love with you anymore. You didn't deserve me since you were cheating on me. I had been patient with her story, but now it was getting to me. Her behavior was disgusting, and I could feel my anger rising. If something didn't happen soon, I was in danger of doing something I'd regret. I stood up and took a deep breath. I don't know how much more of this I can take. I don't know what the point of this is other than to make you feel better by confessing. But I'm not a priest. If that's what you're looking for, I'm not him. So if there's nothing else, I need to leave before I lose it and hurt you. She jumped up and reached for me, but I stepped back. Her face was a mask of pain and panic. I took some pleasure in that. She could hurt, but not from my hand. I have to finish this. Until I do, you and I have no chance. You have to hear it all. Please, you promised. Let me finish. I controlled my breathing until I felt my blood pressure drop to something close to normal. After a few deep exhales, I relaxed enough to sit back down. Get it over with, then. I need to get out of here and into some fresh air. The stench in here is making me sick. That had struck home. I saw her writhe with pain and shame, and it made me feel good. I had finally caused her to feel some of the hurt I'd been living with for the past few days. But she sat back down and prepared to continue. Kevin continued to call me and ask to see me again, but I kept saying no. I was still considering, and I think I was trying to work up the courage to say yes. I talked with Lisa several times, and she kept urging me to go ahead, reminding me of your affairs as justification. I was still hesitating, but I was weakening. For some reason, you got suspicious, and I noticed your attitude changing toward me. I knew you pretty well after 8 years of marriage. I knew your moods, your face when you were thinking, and when you were worrying about something. I saw worry and concentration on your face more and more. It started me thinking. She stopped to take a drink of her tea. It had grown cold now. She continued. I decided I had to be careful for a while, but I didn't know how. I called Kevin and told him I had to be very careful, but that I would call him when I could. He wasn't happy, but he agreed. That was last Monday. Now we were getting to it. Now I would hear the whole story. I had lunch with him on Wednesday. When you said you had a meeting at work, I called him and we met at the diner. Just lunch, but we talked again about his request, and this time I agreed. I said I would do it. I don't know why, except that I thought I had better do it before I had to stop seeing him. She looked at me, but by now I had stopped caring. I knew what she had done, and this was just confirmation. I returned her look with nothing in my expression. She almost cried at my cold, dead stare. We made plans to meet for dinner Saturday night. I would tell you I was going out with Lisa to a movie or something, which would give us the entire evening. He made a reservation at the Skyview Motel. Now I was confused. Saturday? She planned to cheat on me Saturday night after I had caught her with him earlier in the day? No wonder she met him, probably to tell him everything was on, and they didn't have to worry about dumb me. That was before we talked Saturday morning. That conversation with you woke me up. I think I was just sleepwalking, listening to Lisa, going out with Kevin, and those lunches when you were at work. The lies she told me and the suggestions that you were cheating on me were all lies, and I bought into them. But when you made me see the truth on Saturday, I knew it was over. I had to stop it. She was shaking her head as if to negate everything she had done. She believed what she was saying, and I found it hard to listen, but she was almost done. I called Kevin and told him to meet me at the diner. We drove around while I told him it was over. I had changed my mind, and I didn't want to see him anymore. What we were doing was wrong, and I couldn't do it anymore. He didn't want to stop, but I convinced him I was serious. He finally accepted it and drove me back to my car. That's when you saw me. So that was it. After all of that, she hadn't even gone through with it. I was surprised, but I did believe her. Amanda was many things, but she was never a very good liar. But now it was my turn to talk. Well, Amanda, that is quite a story. So after all the lies from Lisa, after all the clandestine lunches and dinners, you finally decided to cheat on me, but you couldn't go through with it. Why? What do you mean, why? Because it was wrong. I understood that and I stopped it. But if it was wrong, why did you agree to it in the first place? Why all the lunches and dinners and the lies to me? Why did you make plans to cheat on me? What stopped you? Well, you talked to me and told me it was all lies from Lisa. That's why. I understood that it was a lie and that what I was doing was wrong. So you would have gone through with it if I hadn't finally made you see that it was all lies? Yes, no. I don't know. But I didn't, and that's the important thing. No, it isn't. The important thing is that you were willing to believe the worst of me, and you were seeing another man behind my back. The important thing is that you never once thought of coming to me and talking. You were already cheating on me in your mind. All the dates, the intimate lunches and dinners, you were with me, but you were thinking of him. You stopped being intimate with me, but planned to do it with him. You had accepted his proposition and were planning on committing adultery. Only my intervention stopped you. This wasn't going as Amanda had planned. She expected me to forgive her because she didn't go through with it. But the lunches, the dinners, the lees, she didn't see them as cheating. Only the act of sleeping with him would have been cheating in her mind. Tom, please, I didn't go through with it. I never cheated on you. You have to see that. Yes, you did. You went out with another man, had lunches and dinners, lied about it, and kept it from me. You made my life hell at home because you chose to believe someone else rather than trust me. You kissed him and didn't tell him to stop. You made plans to cheat on me and only stopped because I got in the way. No, that's not right. I didn't cheat on you. No, you convinced yourself it was okay to betray me. Amanda was now a wreck. Nothing had gone as she wanted. She didn't know how to handle it. She looked at me through tear-clouded eyes. What are you going to do? Can't you forgive me and we can start over? We can fix this. It's too late. It was too late when you decided not to trust me. It was over the first time you went to dinner with him while lying to me. That's when it was over. You just didn't know it. Neither did I until you told me. Now I know it's time for you to face up to it. Our marriage is over. Amanda cried and pleaded, but never once did she say she loved me. She only repeated that she didn't go through with her affair. To her, that was all that mattered, but it was too late. The love was gone, hers as well as mine. She just didn't know it yet. I moved out that day, finally ending it. There was no marriage left to save, no love left in my heart for Amanda. She had betrayed me just as surely as if she had gone through with it. Love, respect, and fidelity are the foundation of any marriage. When one is damaged, the marriage is in trouble, but could still be saved. When two are removed, the marriage collapses. In our case, Amanda had broken two and was planning on breaking the third. There was no way back for me. I filed for divorce the next day. Amanda didn't fight it. As for Kevin Andrews, did I let him go unscathed? No. A few days after I moved out, he was beaten up by two masked men outside a bar. He was beaten so badly that several ribs were broken, and one of his testicles had to be removed. The cops are still looking for leads, but since the camera outside the bar was not working, there were no suspects. The police closed the case as a mugging. After the divorce, Amanda sold the house and gave me 50 of the proceeds. She left town and is now working as an office assistant for an automobile company. I haven't started dating and plan to hold off for a while. Some wounds take time to heal. Thanks for watching this intense story of betrayal and revenge. What would you do if you found out your spouse was planning to cheat? Let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more shocking real-life stories. See you in the next video.